Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. My name is KatoLlama365 and today we are going to be talking all about the hatch in the game Dead by Daylight. So before I go any further, I would like to mention that the hatch is also known as a black lock, so if I use these terms interchangeably later in the video, just know that they refer to the same thing. Also, before I move forward, both of these images as well as all of the information in the video today comes from the Dead by Daylight wiki. I'm going to go ahead and link that in the description box down below if you'd like to check it out for yourself after this video. But like I said, all the information came right from the wiki, so everything is going to be 100% accurate. I'm just going to explain it for you guys more in depth. So, here on screen I have two images already. These are both of the hatch. On the left here, this is an image of the hatch when it is closed. This is how the hatch is going to spawn into the game, and this is how it's going to look as it becomes visible, as long as you are not the last survivor standing. On the right, that is a picture of the hatch as it is open. There are certain conditions that need to be met before the hatch will open, and I will go into those in just a moment. First, I'm going to cover the overview of what the hatch is. So the hatch is always going to be available as a last resort of escape for the last survivor standing in case they could not open either of the exit gates or not even power them at all. If there are multiple survivors still alive, special spawn conditions apply and the hatch requires a key to open it prematurely. Just another way to say that is that the hatch is a second chance at escape. So if you're unable to power the exit gates or unable to open them, the hatch is going to be your best option to get out of the trial alive without being sacrificed. So this is going to open on its own if you are the last survivor standing, like it kind of goes over there in the overview. But if there are multiple survivors alive, you are able to open it with a key, and I will explain how to do that a little bit further into this video. We're going to go ahead and move on. So first, spawn location. The hatch will actually spawn at the beginning of a trial. A lot of people think that it doesn't spawn until later, and this is a common misconception because the hatch, I should say, is going to remain invisible and non-interactable until certain conditions are met. So that's where the idea that the hatch doesn't spawn in at the same time comes from. However, it actually does. It just remains invisible. This will allow for it to be tracked with both a rainbow map or a regular map, so long as that regular map has a black silk cord add-on. However, this hatch is still going to be invisible to players and is still not going to be interactable. Alright, moving down there, the hatch is going to reveal its location and play a very specific sound. If you're a veteran Dead by Daylight player, I'm sure you already have that sound playing in your head. I'm not able to play that in the video today, but I will put a link down in the description box below of another great video here on YouTube showing exactly what that hatch is going to sound like. So if you have not played a whole lot of games yet in Dead by Daylight, or maybe haven't gotten to play a lot of games where the hatch comes into play, I would highly recommend going and checking that video out down in the description box below once this video is over, just so you can know kind of what to listen for future reference. So moving on to visibility down on the bottom half of the screen there. So the hatch is going to become visible whenever the number of fully repaired generators exceeds the number of living survivors by 1. So I apologize for that covering that there. But, for example, if you have 4 survivors remaining, if all survivors are still alive, you'll have to complete 5 total generators. That's 1 for each survivor, and then 1 extra generator. So that is going to be all 5 generators before the hatch becomes visible. If 1 survivor is already sacrificed or killed, you're only going to have to repair a total of 4 generators. That's 1 for each survivor alive, plus 1 extra. That continues until there's only 1 survivor remaining. At that point, the hatch is going to become visible regardless of how many generators are still on the map. So keep that in mind. You have to have 1 more generator than there are living survivors before the hatch will become visible to survivors. Alright, with that being said, we're going to go ahead and move on to the next slide here. Alright, so I've talked about it a little bit, but how do you open the hatch? If you are the last survivor standing, as soon as the hatch becomes visible for you, it is always going to open as well. So as soon as it becomes visible, it's going to open, it's going to start making that sound. You don't have to worry about doing anything else. If you are not the last survivor standing, you're going to have a key to open the hatch. The key bearer, or whoever has that key, is automatically going to jump in and escape. So this can be a little bit hard to achieve. It just depends. on the match you're in, the killer you're against, your teammates, all of that good stuff. So the hatch is not going to emit any noise when it is closed, which makes it harder to spot. However, if you see the hatch, you have a key, you just have to go over and interact with it, you'll automatically jump in. All right, moving on in that sentence, that hatch is going to stay open for 30 seconds and any other survivor is able to escape as well. After that 30 seconds, it's going to close shut again, and this will not trigger the endgame collapse. So keep in mind, when that hatch opens for those 30 seconds, it is going to start emitting that noise. However, I guess I shouldn't have said what, however. So it is going to emit that noise. So it does talk about an achievement there. I'm going to go in depth about that in a little bit when I talk about achievements concerning the hatch. Moving on where it says in-game collapse down below, if the killer closes that open hatch, the game is going to trigger the in-game collapse and the hatch will remain shut. So no matter how many generators are completed, if a survivor opens the hatch mid-game and the killer comes by, hears the hatch open, and close it, the end-game collapse will trigger without having to complete the rest of the generator. So if you're playing killer, you need to keep that in mind, that you can either just wait for it to close on its own, have gameplay continue as normal just without one or more survivors, or if you close it, you're going to have to go right into the in-game collapse. Alright, so that's how you open the hatch, whether it be as last survivor or with a key, and that's kind of how it's going to help, or not help, but how it's going to affect killers as well. So it does kind of mention it there at the bottom as well, under in-game collapse. If the hatch is closed, whether it times out or the killer comes and closes it, if another survivor has a key, they can go and reopen that hatch. Alright, so let's go ahead and move on to closing the hatch. Alright, so at the top there it just says kind of some outdated information about the hatch. I'm going to skip over that as it does not apply anymore. We're also going to skip over hatch grabs as those no longer apply as the hatch closing mechanic has been introduced in place of that. So that was introduced in the 2.0.0 player test build, or public test build. And then this is in the game today. So I'm going to kind of explain how closing the hatch works. All the killer has to do is walk up to the hatch. While it is open and interact with it, they're going to close that hatch automatically. This is going to trigger the end game collapse. So if it's the last survivor remaining in a trial, the hatch spawns and the killer closes it. Regardless of how many generators needed to be powered, both exit gates, or repaired I should say, both exit gates will be powered and they will be able to go and open those. It just triggers that in-game collapse like I said. And before I said, even if a survivor opens it with a key and then it is closed, regardless of how many survivors are left in the trial, regardless of how many generators are left to be repaired, that will also trigger the in-game collapse and allow the exit gates to be powered. So that's what closing the hatch does. It stops survivors from going through the hatch. So just keep that in mind, as well as you are not able to grab survivors anymore as they jump into the hatch. That's no longer a factor in the game. So we're going to move on from closing the hatch to the achievements. I already talked about this a little bit before, but there are 3 different achievements that have to deal with the hatch, and all 3 are actually hidden achievements. So the first one is called Agonizing Escape. It is a hidden achievement, and you get it for crawling your way either out the exit gates or into the hatch. So this one doesn't have to be achieved with the hatch. It can be achieved by crawling out the exit gates. But that's going to be, as a survivor, if you are put into the dying state and jump through the hatch or crawl out an exit gate, you get the achievement Agonizing Escape. The second achievement there, Backdoor Escape, also a hidden achievement. Escaping the trial through the hatch in any state is going to get you this achievement, whether you crawl or jump through the hatch. That's how you get the achievement Backdoor Escape. The third achievement there, Where Did They Go, also a hidden achievement. This is one of the hardest achievements in the game, but all 4 survivors need to escape through the hatch in a single trial. It does say there this is going to require the use of either the skeleton key or the dual key, and you're going to have to repair all 5 generators in order for the hatch to spawn with all survivors alive. So Not only do you have to complete all 5 generators with all 4 survivors still alive, you will also need a key to unlock that hatch. You'll have to get all of your teammates together and all jump through in that 30-second window without the killer catching you. So that is a hard achievement to get, but it is very satisfying once you finally get it. Alright, so then that's the end of our video today. I try to keep it brief. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope I explained the hatch for you guys. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Like I said, go ahead and leave a like down below if you did like this video and would like to see more of this series. Go ahead and also click that subscribe button while you're down there and hit that notification bell next to it so you never miss an upload, whether it be from this series or another one. I hope you guys liked it. Like I said, again, go ahead and leave down in the comments below what you'd like me to cover next. Like I said, I'm covering every single part of this game, from survivors, killers, maps, add-ons, items, anything you can possibly think of. Go ahead and put that down in the description below. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.